I'm Roy Kaiser, Artistic Director of Nevada Ballet Theater, and I'd like to welcome all of you first to, oh, that's me, here, Insights, and then secondly to our performances of Swan Lake, our performance of Swan Lake next door tonight. I think you're in for a real treat. Before we begin, though, I'd like to introduce this young lady. Any of you recognize her? All the ballet students recognize her. This is one of our very talented company members, Mirella Costa Neto. And Mirella's with us tonight because she is one of our two dancers that are performing the role of Odette Odile. And she's not dancing tonight, obviously. This is not the costume. It's very nice, but it's not the costume. But Mirella made her debut last night in Swan Lake, danced beautifully with her partner, Sergio Alvarez. And because she has a free night tonight, I asked her to come over and talk to you all a little bit about Swan Lake and about the process and all of that. How's that sound? Okay? Good. Look, I just saw Alyssa Dale. Stand up and say hi to everybody. Alyssa Dale, look at Alyssa Dale. One of the stars of NBT in the audience tonight. Anyway, have a seat. Informal. I thought, why don't we start, Mirella? Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself first and how you ended up here at Nevada Ballet Theater.
Good evening, everyone. Well, I'm originally from Brazil. I've been in the U.S. now for about 9 years. When I first came to the U.S., I joined Miami City Ballet, and then Orlando Ballet, Sarasota Ballet, and then I ended up here. One of my closest friends, a repetitor, Sandra Jennings, she wrote me a message saying that I should look up Nevada Ballet Theater. And there was some really good things about to happen with the company. And I looked the company up, I saw the rap, I really loved the ballets they were going to perform. So I came in audition, and this is my third season with the company, and yes.
So I'll tell you something about Mirella. And I had, last night, I had Jamie DeRocker, who is our other Odette Odile, who you'll see dance tonight. She was off last night, so I had her as my guest. And these young ladies are performing, both of them have just made their debuts in a full-length Swan Lake, which is, I mean, that sets the bar right there. And often, sets up careers. And they're more nervous to be here talking to you. Go figure that. I don't know. Take a breath. It's like you're preparing to go on stage. So don't be nervous, all friends. Would you just talk a little bit about the process, about how you put this together? Before you do, let me just talk about the ballet for a second. Swan Lake is, probably the quintessential classic romantic ballet. And when you think about classical ballet, you think about Nutcracker and you think about Swan Lake. The production that I've introduced to our repertoire this year, the production that you'll see tonight, is choreographed by Ben Stevenson. Many of you may remember that name from last season. He was the choreographer of Dracula. People like that Dracula. Yeah. We're going to have to bring that back. Yeah. Let me write that down. Dracula in all capital letters. But Mr. Stevenson has created a ballet in 2 acts, but in those 2 acts, he covers all 4 acts of the original ballet. So the first act has a transition between Act 1 and 2, a seamless transition. and then we have an intermission, and then acts 3 and 4 are combined with a transition. It has all of the elements of every Swan Lake and everything that you want to see. It has the beautiful white act, second act, with all of the swans, with the white swan pas de deux, with the very famous solo that Odette does. The third act has all of the national dances. It has Black Swan pas de deux with all its bravura, and then we finish up back at the lake. I chose this specific production for a couple of reasons. One is that it fit Nevada Ballet Theater. We're not a huge company. We have 25 dancers right now in the company. We're not a company of 50 or 60 dancers. So I needed a ballet that would fit the size and scope of the company. I liked the way that Ben integrated the use of pantomime in the ballet to further the story. I liked that he really stayed very true to a lot of the original intent of the ballet as far as choreography goes. So all that being said, we have 2 new Odette Odiles, and as part of the preparation for this ballet, it's not just learning steps and counts. There is an incredible emotional investment and an incredible investment in discovering how each of the artists is going to portray a story to you without using their lips, right? They can't talk. So I think it's fair to say that it's probably a different process than you would go through for most of our repertoire. Is that true?
Yes, this ballet is definitely one of my biggest challenges because in this ballet I have to do 2 different roles, 2 completely different roles, right? The white swan and the black swan, completely different feelings on stage. And of course, this ballet is so technically demanding, but besides that, I feel like artistically, I really need to be there artistically, right? That was not really good, but I think you guys got it. I feel like the technique should be there, so I can really focus on the artistry of the ballet, right? And translate the story to you guys, not just with the steps, but with real feelings. So I think that's what it makes so magical.
Yeah. I mean, as we went through the process, and I'll also say that we were really fortunate to have a woman by the name of Dawn Scannell, who worked for Mr. Stevenson for many years as a dancer at the Houston Ballet, and danced, I think, every female role in the ballet throughout her career, from the beginning of her career to the end of her career. She came and staged the work for us. It was about a little more than 4-week process, which we interrupted with a little thing called a choreographer's showcase that we do down on the Strip. Did you see that this year? Yeah? Yeah? I love that. So Dawn worked with us, and then we were really incredibly fortunate to have Mr. Stevenson himself. He was able to travel to Las Vegas and work with the company for the week that we came into the theater this past week. So you get, for a dancer like Mirella and all of the other principals in the cast, you get much more than learning steps and counts. You can get intent from a choreographer. You can get what he was thinking in this passage, why he made this choice. And I think that informs you as to how you then go ahead and approach the role. And towards the end of the rehearsal period, we have very good dancers in Nevada Ballet Theater. They can do this stuff. Technically, they can do it all. And by the end of the process, I know that Dawn and I think you and I had a conversation or 2, and it was what we were saying was forget the steps. Don't even think about the steps. Think about the story you're telling. Make that story come alive for the audience. And it's a very hard thing for dancers to do, I think, because it goes against the way we're trained. I mean, we're trained to be there on 1 and be there on 4 and be there on 8 and execute something perfectly. But in this process, you have to just trust that, correct?
Yeah, I have to just trust it and let it go so you can really tell the story.
Yeah. Did you trust it last night?
I tried to.
You did?
Yes.
Good. You did. I saw it. You did. So another element, another part of this ballet's pantomime. Who knows pantomime? Oh, of course. You guys are, you smart Alex down here. Stand up. All you ladies stand up. Turn around, face those people. See these? Oh, over here. Look, more. Come on, ladies, stand up. So, all of these young ladies are students at the Academy of Nevada Ballet Theater. How about that? Very good. Okay, now you can sit down. That's all you get. That's enough for tonight. Did you all see Alice in Wonderland last season? Yeah? Who did Alice in Wonderland? Here, 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 right? They were the stars of the show, weren't they? The young'uns. So come on, stand up. We're going to do, let's do a little pantomime. So pantomime is gestures. The other night I said hand gestures and everybody laughed, so I'm not saying hand gestures. Yeah? Did you get that? You got that, okay. What do you want to tell us? What do you want? Show us a piece of the pantomime.
So I'm gonna show the first thing, one of the first things I do in the ballet.
Okay, I'll hold this for you.
I'm the queen of the swans.
Queen of the Swans. Yeah? So you can all do queen, right? Queen. Bum bum. No, that's something else. You went the wrong way. You got to go left, right. Stand up, sir. Stand up, sir. Turn around. Okay. Yep. No, you don't get off that easy. Now you go like this. You go, I'm the queen of the swans. Yes! Okay. So I need an extra for the show tonight. Okay, come over. Backstage, stage door. Yeah, it's behind the theater. So, you got that? Let's see. What else is important, though? I swear. You'll see that a few times tonight as they swear their love. 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 She does it much better than I do. Love. Love, I swear. And don't forget the most important one. Yeah. Now, that's Mary. Right? Now, I noticed this a while ago. I've been in this business for a long time, and I didn't really notice this until we were in rehearsal about a week ago. Show us Mary, and then show us die. Really close. Right? I saw it in rehearsal, and I said to everybody, I said, you have to be really clear with the pantomime. Good. So one more thing. I'm just here to entertain tonight. No, I'm going to ask them to show Port de Bras a little bit. As soon as we start doing Swan Lake, as soon as we start rehearsing Swan Lake, you see every lady in the company change, right? Their necks get a little bit longer. The shoulders get back even just a little bit more. And they're trying to find these muscles in their back, which I haven't felt for a long time, that help them do their swan arms, right? The flapping. We call it flapping, but if they really flapped, you'd laugh, right? There's actually an articulation that goes through the arms, through the elbows, the wrists, and it comes from the upper back. The arms are really only kind of going along for the ride. Turn around and show them from the back. I love this. You ready? Ready? Go. Yeah. Isn't that something? That takes a lot of work. It's a lot of work. You guys all practice that when you get home tonight, okay? Yeah, so you see a lot of flapping tonight. It's and as difficult as it is, to do that in the spotlight, we have 16 ladies in the corps de ballet that not only have to have that same articulation, but they have to do it in unison. So we actually just had a little tune-up rehearsal on the stage before we came over here tonight, and they look terrific. Okay, I'm going to let you sit down again, and I'm going to sit down because I'm tired. We did a little video. We wanted to go into our rehearsals. We went into our rehearsal studios in Summerlin one afternoon. The last week before we moved into the theater, we were basically doing a run-through of the ballet each day in Studio 1 out in Summerlin, followed by about 2 hours of notes and corrections and fixing things. So we shot one day that actually, this was your rehearsal. We alternated casts each day. So we shot this video with Mirella and Sergio. You'll also see in the video, because they're working alongside them, Jamie DeRocker and Zachary Goutier, who is a new dancer. Many of you may not have seen him yet. They're dancing tonight. So here's a little behind the scenes. And there's Alyssa Dale, right there, sitting in our audience and up there. That's from the last time that we did Swan Lake. So, yeah, Fortes get applause even on film, right? It's crazy, crazy, crazy. So I'm getting the sign, this sign. We have a few minutes, though. So we'll take questions. Any questions? Anything we didn't cover? Anything you want to know? Yes, sir.
I have a general ballet question.
Mm-hmm.
How is choreography articulated in written form?
How is choreography, how is it recorded in written form? Yeah. Okay. No, let me tell you, it's complicated. There are actually two forms of dance notation. One is Laban notation, and the other is called Benish notation. They are very cumbersome. Laban, actually, Rudolf Laban was a gentleman that created this way of notating movement with symbols, and literally has symbols. It's almost like vertical musical staffs, but one movement can have 20 symbols in it, because you can notate down to one of the digits in your finger. So there are dances that have been notated that way, but it takes months and months and months and a team of people to actually notate it, and then there's about 3 people in the world that can read it. So it's not, and Laban actually created this to help with efficiency this goes back to like the 30s, in factories. And they studied the efficiency of factories and how, and then the dance community took it. Benish notation is based more on symbols, and if 3 or 4 people know Laban notation, maybe 10 or 12 know Benish notation. So historically, it's been handed down from generation to generation, person to person, word of mouth. This is what I did. This is ballet masters that teach ballets. They always kind of create their own notes as well, and they're across the board. I mean, no two are alike. And if I were to take somebody else's notes, I probably couldn't recreate the ballet. So now we have videotape. We have video, and we have recordings that we can use. But as I was saying earlier, that only gives you part of the story. And they're also not always accurate. I mean, dancers are a little off here, off there, and so it's still best to get it from the horse's mouth. Yeah, good question though. Anybody else? We covered everything? Oh no, we didn't. Yes.
As the main ballerina, what are three or four of the main emotions that you want to convey really well?
Well, I think what I feel doing this ballet, I just feel joy, and I feel like in Black Swan, I kind of want to portray more like this intrigued part, and yeah.
And you're a little evil.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to say, you're a nice woman. I like you a lot, but in third act, you're not nice.
Yeah. I mean, Black Swan is my favorite part.
I was giving you an out, and then she loves Black Swan.
I do.
She's manipulating a man in Black Swan, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's fun.
I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave that alone. Anybody else? Anything else we can answer before we head over? No. Yes.
What would you say is the hardest part about learning the role?
Letting go. After learning all the steps, I feel like trying to be there artistically to be able to show you guys the true story. I think just forgetting about the technical stuff and getting past that. I think that's the hardest thing, and bring the emotion so you guys can really have that experience, not just watching us doing the steps.
And I think that's, it's such an iconic role that young ladies like Mirella, as they step into it, they have all of these, they put pressure on themselves because they want to live up to a certain standard. And you focus so much, you want every step to be absolutely perfect, and they don't trust themselves. And part of the message we kept trying to give you is trust yourself. You've been training since you were 3 years old, and you got it, right? So trust yourself and let yourself go and get lost in the movement a little bit. And you've done that, but it's hard. It's hard for a dancer to trust that that leg's going to be there. I'm not dancing tonight. I'm going to be in the audience with you guys. Now, I don't want to put any pressure on you. Who is that? Am I related to you? No. My relatives laugh at me all the time. This is, what's tonight? Saturday. We open Thursday. Thursday night, standing ovation. Okay. Friday night, guess what? Standing ovation. I think they were a little faster on Friday night. Like, you know how you can get like a standing ovation, one of these, and then you can get one of those, right? That's what we had last night. So I don't want to put pressure on you. I've been told Saturday night audiences are awesome, and I hope you are. No, I hope you have a great time. I hope you really enjoy the ballet. Company's dancing beautifully. They've worked really hard. I'm really proud of where they are right now. And so I hope you enjoy tonight, and then I hope you come back and see us again. We still have a lot of season ahead. Have a good time tonight. Thank you all.